This week on Granite State Challenge, the Purple Panthers of Nashua South High School take on the Sabres of Souhegan High School. Only one team will advance. Granite State Challenge starts now.
Major funding for the production of Granite State Challenge is provided by Unitil. Additional funding provided by NEA New Hampshire, Safety Insurance, New Hampshire Lottery, Heinemann Publishing, Cognia, HRCU, Manchester Community College, and viewers like you. Thank you. Get ready. It's time for New Hampshire high schools to match wits in a high-stakes scholastic showdown. It's time for Granite State Challenge. Here's your host, John Cannon.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again this week for Granite State Challenge. We're in the quarterfinal round, and we've got two returning teams here this week to do battle to see who can punch their ticket to the semifinals. Let's introduce them to you. First up, we have the Purple Panthers of Nashua South High School. They're led by senior captain George, who is a competitive cuber. What is that?
So it's just solving Rubik's Cubes from small to big as fast as you can.
What's your best record on a 3x3 cube?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Man, that is impressive. All right, George is joined by Jerry. Jerry's a senior and is a budding artist, likes to draw. Tell us about it.
I like to draw. I haven't really developed a style yet, but I have an art Instagram and I'm just working on it.
Is this a hobby?
Yeah, just a hobby.
Awesome. Keep it up. She's joined by Sri. Sri's a sophomore, and Sri's a big fan of architecture. Tell us about that.
I really like different types of architecture. It's like a hobby just to kind of look at stuff.
Any particular era or style?
I like neoclassical and Gothic.
All right. Excellent. And he's joined by Andrew, a senior, who's a big fan of something we all know and love, which is
breathing.
Yes, tell us why.
Yeah, I enjoy breathing. I don't really know how you'd not enjoy the most quintessential part of life, but I do have a thorough love of just inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide.
Sometimes it feels good to take a deep breath, doesn't it? Excellent. The team is coached by Greg Montaigne, and their alternate is Shivani, and they're the Purple Panthers of Nashua South High School. All right, we'll turn our attention to their opponents this week, and they're the Sabres of Souhegan High School. They're led by senior captain Alec, who knows all of the countries and capitals.
I do, yeah.
How did you do that?
Well, when I grew up, I had these capital placemats that I would put underneath my cereal as I ate in the morning, and I would just stare at them, and eventually, throughout the course of my life, they kind of just went into my brain.
All right, I can relate to that. I can relate to that probably better than you know. He's joined by junior Zach, who, like myself in high school, plays what instrument in the band?
Euphonium.
All right, how'd you start playing the euphonium?
I actually originally played trumpet, and then my band director just told me to switch, and he gave me a euphonium.
And you're doing okay with it?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I quite like it.
All right, excellent. We'll keep it up. He's joined by senior Ari, who has a well-known Instagram account that does what?
I review fruit.
Fruit, yes. You review fruits. Any fruits recently that you've reviewed you want to tell us about?
Latest one would be the golden kiwi. It's like a green kiwi. It's a little sweeter, a little subtler, a little softer.
Golden or green, what do you like better?
You can't pick one.
You can't
Apples
pick a
to
kiwi.
Oranges, John.
Yeah, so I've heard. And they're joined by Amanda. Amanda's a sophomore and is a big fan of U.S. history, thinking about majoring in college.
Yeah.
How come? What draws you to history?
I just really think that history is fascinating.
It is. I agree myself. All right, the team is coached by Dave Jasinski, Sarah Kunyosiang, and Travis Nason. And the alternates are Daniel and Nick. They're the Souhegan Sabres. And one more introduction for you this week. And again, that is our judges, of course. Back with us again are Jim Johnston and Ann Belanger. All right, teams, Nashua South Souhegan introductions are out of the way, so we're going to dive right into Granite State Challenge. As you know, we play in 4 rounds, and in round 1, we do 10-point toss-up questions. So, Nashua South Souhegan, best of luck. Here we go. The 1952 Summer Olympics were held in this Finnish city, the northernmost location for any Summer Olympics to date. Sri of Nashua South.
Helsinki?
Yes. Singer Merle Haggard had a hit in 1969 with the song Okie from Muskogee. Where does an Okie hail from? Zach of Souhegan.
Oklahoma?
Yes. This George Frederick Handel oratorio includes the Hallelujah Chorus. Andrew of Nashua South.
Messiah?
Yes. In 1968, to celebrate its 300th anniversary, the Central Bank of Sweden donated money to the Nobel Foundation to establish an award in this field. Sorry, Sri, just missed it. It was economics. 2 U.S. presidents were born in Texas. One was Lyndon Johnson. The other was this Army general who considered Kansas his home. Sorry, Sri, I think you got locked out there for a second. It's Dwight D. Eisenhower. This British writer and physician introduced the characters Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson in the 1887 novel, A Study in Scarlet. Zach of Sauhegan.
Doyle?
Yes. Who wrote the poem Song of Myself, which begins with the lines, I celebrate myself and sing myself? Jerry of Nashua South?
Brown.
Sorry, no. It was Walt Whitman. This Puritan minister set up a settlement in what is now Rhode Island after he was banished from the Massachusetts Bay Colony in 1636. George of Nashua South.
Hooker?
Sorry, no. Ari of Sauhegan?
Babson?
Nope, it was Roger Williams. This 1803 Supreme Court case was the first decision where the Supreme Court invalidated a law passed by Congress. Amanda of Sauhegan.
Marbury versus Madison.
You got it. The name for this African country located on the Red Sea is derived from the Greek name for the Red Sea. Alec of Sauhegan?
Egypt.
Sorry, no. George of Nashua South.
Eritrea?
That's the one. All right, teams, for the next question, I'd like you to take a look at our video monitors for a clue from a very special guest.
Hi, I'm Willem Lang, host of Windows to the Wild, and the answer to this question will include the word wild. What term for hopeless pursuit will you find in Act 2, Scene 4 of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet?
Zach of Sauhegan.
Wild Goose Chase?
That's it. You got it. In 1945, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball when he signed a contract with this team. Sri of Nashua South.
The Dodgers?
I need to know where they're from.
Brooklyn.
Yes. This poet's most famous poem, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, was first published in 1915 in Poetry, a magazine of verse. And that was T.S. Eliot. This bandana-wearing woman was the face of women who entered the American workforce during World War II. Sri of Nashua South.
Rosie the Riveter?
Yes. Which Shakespearean play begins on a ship at sea caught in a storm? Sri again.
The Tempest?
Yes. On January 8th, 1790, George Washington delivered the first one of these to a joint session of Congress in New York City, the provisional capital of the U.S. Ari of Sauhegan.
Inaugural address?
Sorry, no. George of Nashua South.
Farewell address?
Nope, it was a State of the Union address. This Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale features a young lady seriously bothered by a seed from the pod of the plant Pisum sativum. Amanda of Sauhegan.
Princess and the Pea.
Yes. Disney turned this author's work, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, into an animated film in 1996. Jerry of Nashua South.
Victor Hugo.
Yes. This man's killed virus vaccine for polio was released in 1955. George of Nashua South.
Salk.
Yes. Badwater Basin, at 282 feet below sea level, is the lowest elevation in North America. In what national park will you find Badwater Basin? Alec of Sauhegan?
Death Valley.
That's it. Film director Victor Fleming's two most popular films both involved wind and were both released in 1939. One featured a Southern Belle and the other a young girl from Kansas. Name either one of the films. Andrew of Nashua South.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind is one. The Wizard of Oz is the other. All right, teams, 30 seconds to go on the round. Go ahead and take a look at your monitors for our power question. As you know, power questions are worth double the points, so this is a 20-point toss-up question. Take a look.
This could be a song by David Bowie, a novel by George Orwell, or the last year the Summer Olympics were held in Los Angeles.
Ari of Sauhegan.
1984.
You got it right. All right, 8 days after being shot by anarchist Leon Czolgosz in the Temple of Music at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo. We're not going to get to the end of that clue, I'm so sorry, but after round number 1, we've got a tight match here, folks. Nashua South with a slight lead over Souhegan by a score of 90-80. All right, Nashua South and Souhegan, that was a great round 1. We're going to roll right on into round 2. In round 2, we're going to continue with our toss-up questions. However, we're going to be doubling the points. So now we're playing for 20-point toss-up questions. Nashua South, Souhegan, good luck. Here we go. This country group's album, Own the Night, won the 2012 Grammy for Best Country Album. Jerry of Nashua South?
Florida Georgia Line.
Sorry, no. Sorry, Ari, just missed it. It is Lady Antebellum. On a standard phone keypad, what is the sum of the first column of numbers? George of Nashua South?
12.
Sorry, just ran out of time. Alec?
11.
Sorry, the answer is 12. You had it. In 1795, legislators in this state took bribes to sell land in what is now Alabama and Mississippi to land companies at well below market value in what is known as the Yazoo land scandal. Jerry of Nashua South.
Georgia.
Yes, correct. French author Jules Verne's works serve as a major influence on this contemporary genre of science fiction and fantasy, as well as fashion that draws inspiration from 19th century technology and is the antithesis of cyberpunk. Sri of Nashua South.
Steampunk?
Steampunk is right. In 1925, Nellie Taylor Ross became the first woman to be sworn in as governor of a state when she was elected to lead this state in a special election following the death of her husband. Alec of Souhegan?
Wyoming.
That's the state. This author intended his dystopian novel Brave New World to serve as a satire of the utopian works of H.G. Wells. Alec of Souhegan?
Aldous Huxley.
Yes, you got it. In 2019, this Category 5 hurricane devastated the island nation of the Bahamas. It's Hurricane Dorian. This New Hampshire jurist was nominated by President George H.W. Bush to fill the seat on the U.S. Supreme Court vacated by William J. Brennan, Jr. He served as an associate justice on the court from 1990 to 2009 when he was replaced by Sonia Sotomayor. Jerry of Nashua South?
Souter.
David Souter is correct. Benedict Cumberbatch played this British mathematician and computer science pioneer in the 2014 movie The Imitation Game. Zach of Souhegan.
Turing.
Alan Turing is correct. All right, team, go ahead and take a look at your monitors for the picture coming up. This large bird of prey breeds in New Hampshire and is found near the shallow waters of lakes, rivers, and seacoasts where it hunts for fish. Andrew of Nashua South.
Red-tailed hawk.
Sorry, nope. Ari of Souhegan.
Osprey.
It is an osprey, you got it. This American photographer, best known for her portraits, worked as chief photographer of Rolling Stone from 1973 to 1983, photographed John Lennon on the day he was killed, and in 1991 became the first woman to have an exhibition at the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. That famous photographer is Annie Leibovitz. The shooting of this high school student in Sanford, Florida by George Zimmerman led to protests and rallies across the United States. Andrew of Nashua South.
Trayvon Martin.
Yes. This Massachusetts native is perhaps best known for inventing the cotton gin. George of Nashua South.
Whitman.
Sorry, no. Amanda of Souhegan.
Whitney.
Yeah, Eli Whitney. Quarterback Archie Manning, who played for the New Orleans Saints from 1971 to 1982, never won a Super Bowl, but two of his sons are also quarterbacks and have each won 2 Super Bowls. Who are his sons? Sri of Nashua South.
Eli and Peyton Manning.
Yes, you got them both. Just under a minute to go in round 2, teams. This English writer is known for works like The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Invisible Man, and The War of the Worlds. Sri of Nashua South.
H.G. Wells.
You got it. This French fashion designer is perhaps best known for her design that freed women from the constraints of the corset and for her signature perfume, first released in 1921. Jerry of Nashua South.
Chanel.
Yes, Coco Chanel is correct. This Portsmouth, New Hampshire native and heavy metal singer and songwriter who replaced Ozzy Osbourne as the lead singer for Black Sabbath in 1979 is credited with introducing the horns and hand gesture for heavy metal. Sorry, Sri, I was hoping one of you would get it. It's Ronnie James Dio. The title of this Edward Albee, well, we're not going to get to that question quite yet, but after 2 rounds, Nashua South holding its lead 230 to 180 over Souhegan. All right, teams, as we go into round 3, I'd like to invite the alternates to join their teams up at the podiums as we go into our 60-second round. In the 60-second round, each team gets 10 questions in a category. We'll give them 10 points for each correct response and a bonus of 10 points if you get all 10 correct. Souhegan, as the team trailing, you get to select first from our 3 categories. And Alec, you can talk to your team. You can choose from Everything's Coming Up Roses, Top 10 Countdown, and To Take a Walk.
Everything's Coming Up Roses.
Everything's Coming Up Roses. All right, Alec, I'm going to take your answer as the team answer. In this category, the answers to all of the following will include the word rose. 60 seconds. Start the clock. Lead singer for Guns N' Roses.
Axl Rose.
Yes. Rock that helped translate Egyptian hieroglyphics.
The Rosetta Stone.
Yes. Hit TV show about the Connor family.
Roseanne.
Yes. Spiker Field in Pasadena is more commonly known as this.
The Rose Bowl.
Yes. Charles Foster Kane's famous sled.
Oh, Rosebud.
Yes. This signature Edith Piaf song has been used in the films Wall-E and Madagascar 3.
Love the Unrose.
Yes. This folk song about the Lone Star State has been covered by Elvis Presley and Willie Nelson.
Yellow Rose of Texas.
Yes. He has been banned from baseball for life for gambling.
Pass.
It's Pete Rose. The fight for control of the throne of England between the Lancasters and the Yorks.
War of Roses.
Judges, think about that one. This NBA star has played for the Bulls, the Knicks, the Cavaliers, and the Timberwolves.
Derrick Rose.
Yes. 9 out of 10 on your 60-second round. Great job, Souhegan. Nashua South, we turn over to you. George, you can choose from Top 10 Countdown and To Take a Walk.
Top 10 countdown. Top 10 countdown.
Top 10 Countdown it will be. All right, George, you can talk to your team, but I'm going to take your answer as the team answer. And in this category, the answers to the following will be titles that include the numbers 1 through 10 in that order. So number 1 will include the number 1, number 2 will include the number 2, and so on and so forth. Okay? 60, make sense?
Yep.
Okay. 60 seconds on the clock. Here we go. Jack Nicholson played, number 1, Jack Nicholson played McMurphy in this movie adaptation of a Ken Kesey novel.
Pass.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Number 2, this novel opens with the line, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Tales of the Cities.
Yes. Number 3, they were terrorized by a blowing wolf.
The Three Little Pigs.
Three Little Pigs.
Yes. Number 4, 1994 British romantic comedy featuring Hugh Grant and 5 Gatherings.
Pass.
It was 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Number 5, Kurt Vonnegut novel featuring Billy Pilgrim.
Slaughterhouse Five.
Yes. Number 6, Haley Joel Osment saw dead people in this movie.
The Sixth Sense.
Yes. Number 7, 1954 Akira Kurosawa movie.
Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai.
Yes. 8, 1964 Beatles song about needing
8
lots
Days
of...
a Week.
Yes. Number 9, 1980 workplace comedy starring Dolly Parton, Jane Fonda, and Lily Tomlin.
Pass.
It is 9 to 5. Number 10, Charlton Heston played Moses in this 1954
The
Cecil
Ten
B. DeVille
Commandments.
movie.
Ten
Again?
Commandments.
10 Commandments is correct. 7 out of 10 on your 60-second round. All right, great job, teams. A little bit of tightening there. Alternates, you can go ahead and take your seats as we go into round 4. So we've got a tight match here, Nashua South and Souhegan, and in round 4, we continue with our 20-point toss-up questions. However, we will be deducting 20 points for any incorrect responses. So play smart, play strategic. Good luck to both of you. Here we go. The title of this Edward Albee play asks, who is afraid of this author of the novels Orlando and Mrs. Dalloway? Ari of Souhegan?
Virginia Woolf.
Yes. You'll find Fountain of Time, a 126-foot-long sculpture by Laredo Taft in Washington Park on Chicago's South Side. The sculpture was commissioned to celebrate 100 years of peace between these two nations following the signing of the 1814 Treaty of Ghent. Amanda of Souhegan.
England and America.
Sorry, we can't accept that. I'm sorry. Nashua South. George?
England and France.
Sorry. Nope, no harm, no foul. We needed the United States and the United Kingdom, the proper country names. This Austrian city is considered by many to be the city of music because of its rich musical heritage. Zach of Sauhegan.
Vienna.
Yes. This Italian astronomer, who has a division in the rings of Saturn named for him, also had a space mission to Saturn that bears his name. Sri of Nashua South.
Kepler.
Sorry, no. It was Giovanni Cassini. The United States Department of Treasury was founded in 1789. Who was the first secretary? Amanda of Sauhegan.
Alexander Hamilton.
You got it. This short period comet is visible from Earth every 75 to 76 years. It was last seen in 1986 and will be visible again sometime in 2061. Zach of Sauhegan.
Halley's Comet?
Yes. In what short story by Washington Irving will you find the characters Katrina Van Tassel and Ichabod Crane? Jerry of Nashua South.
Sleepy Hollow. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
We'll take it. Yes, thank you. In 1912, Arthur Rose Eldred of Long Island, New York, became the first person to earn this honor that has since been earned by over 2 million boys, including Steven Spielberg, Neil Armstrong, Michael Moore, Michael Bloomberg, and Gerald R. Ford. Sri of Nashua South.
Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout is correct. At 11,249 feet, this is the highest mountain in Oregon. Amanda of Sauhegan.
Mount Hood.
Mount Hood is correct. In the George M. Cohen song, Yankee Doodle Boy, the singer claims to be a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam's, born on the 4th of July. This future president could claim to be a Yankee Doodle Boy, as he was born on July 4th, 1872, in Plymouth, Vermont. George of Nashua South.
Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge is correct. This 1989 novel by Amy Tan tells the stories of members of 4 Chinese-American immigrant families. Jerry of Nashua South.
The Joylet Club.
That's it. Janet Jackson had a hit in 1989 with the song Rhythm Nation. Spell rhythm. George of Nashua South.
R-H-Y-T-H-M.
Yes, you got them all. The earliest known fossil of this wild dog, native to Australia, dates back to over 3,400 years ago. Zach of Sauhegan.
Dingo.
The dingo is correct. Somewhere between 6,000 and 12,000 people died in a 1900 hurricane that hit this Texas city, making it the deadliest natural disaster to hit the United States. Zach of Sauhegan.
Galveston.
That's correct. This collaborative online encyclopedia, launched in January of 2001, takes part of its name from the Hawaiian word for fast or quick. Ari of Sauhegan.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is right. This 19th century author's novella, The Turn of the Screw, about 2 orphans, Miles and Flora, and a controlling ghost, is told through the memoir of a dead governess. The novella is Henry James. This singer launched her solo career in 2003 with the studio album Dangerously in Love and had a #1 hit with the song Crazy in Love. Jerry of Nashua South.
Beyonce.
Yes. This cytogeneticist was awarded the 1983 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for her research on genetic transposition. She is to date the only woman to be awarded the prize for her solo work. Jerry of Nashua South.
Mead.
Sorry, no. It is Barbara McClintock. Just under a minute left to go in the match. In August of 2019, Guitar World magazine said the best rock guitar intro of all time was from the song Day Tripper by this band. George of Nashua South.
Beatles.
Yes. This French writer who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1957 is perhaps best known for his novel The Stranger. Zach of Sauhegan.
Camus.
Yes. This state, named for an English monarch, was founded as a British colony by James Oglethorpe in 1733. George, Nashua South.
Georgia.
Yes. Fashion designer Yves Saint Laurent's 1965 fall collection featured dresses with blocks of primary colors inspired by this Dutch artist, known for works like Victory Boogie Woogie and Composition 2 in red, blue, and yellow. It was Piet Mondrian. This ancient Greek playwright is credited with writing over 90 plays, including Medea, The Trojan Women, Electra, and The Suppliants. George? Sorry, it is Euripides. And with that, the match has ended, and it will be Sauhegan emerging victorious by a score of 430 to 380. What a match, right down to the wire. Nashua South, great match. Sorry you came up a little short. Souhegan, congratulations on a good win. We'll see you in a few weeks in the semifinals, and we hope to see you next week as the Manchester Little Green visit us to take on the Plymouth Regional High School Bobcats. Nashua South, thanks so much for coming. Souhegan, great game. We had a lot of fun here this week. We hope you did too. I learned a lot, and I hope you did as well. We'll see you next week.
Major funding for the production of Granite State Challenge is provided by Unitil. Additional funding provided by NEA New Hampshire, Safety Insurance, New Hampshire Lottery, Heinemann Publishing, Cognia, HRCU, Manchester Community College, and viewers like you. Thank you.